What, when you talked about the most pressing issues the country has, what, can you go over those?
Well, I
That one?
think that, you know, my brand and what I talk about is the economic security and national security of the United States of America. And I think that if the federal government got back to understand its proper roles and responsibilities, that's where it would be. We're not going to turn this thing around economically until we have some really wholesale policy changes emanating out of Washington, D.C. And I'm talking about our monetary policy, our overall fiscal policy, our tax and regulatory policies. You know, there's a great piece in the Wall Street Journal today talking about the United States of the EPA and how the EPA is affecting the private sector and the growth of jobs here in this country. When you look at the fact that we had a Keystone XL project, the most studied, pipeline, whatever you want to call it, 3 years, and all of a sudden we, put it off, and the amount of jobs that that's affecting, we're talking about close to 140,000 direct and indirect jobs that the cancellation or delay of that project will affect. So I think that when you start looking at all the closed storefronts that we have, our small businesses, we've got to provide some type of certainty and confidence in the policies that we're, developing in Washington, D.C. One of the things that absolutely frustrated me was that, the Friday before we left for this Thanksgiving break, we couldn't even pass a balanced budget amendment. So what does that say to the American people? That you got a federal government that is now $15 trillion, click, 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 in debt, and they still don't believe that they need to operate within some type of fiscal constraints or some type of fiscal boundaries in order to get this thing under control. We can't continue down the road where we've had 3 straight years of $1 trillion plus deficits. Just cannot. Now, on top of that, I think that when you look at the greater world, and 22 years in the military, I've been in some of these spots. Our national security is a big threat, which is why I am vehemently against this defense sequestration. I sit on the Armed Services Committee. We have already tapped into the military budget for about 450 to 466 billion over the next 10 years. Another 5 to 600 billion dollars over 10 years. You're not just going to have a hollow military. You're going to have the absence of a military. And we have had Secretary of Defense Panetta, the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, all the service chiefs, Commandant of the Marine Corps testify. We've had economic experts come up and testify before the Armed Services Committee, and they all agree that this would be just absolutely catastrophic and horrific for the military. And you're looking at a guy that lived through a period when we thought that we could make the military a bill payer for the federal government. And the next thing you know, I go off to Iraq commanding a battalion. We don't have enough body armor. We don't have up-armored Humvees. Some of our Humvees didn't even have doors. Luckily, the enemy did not understand how to use IEDs, early on in 2003. So it did give us an opportunity to try to get some of those things in place. So for my friends that are still in the military, and for my nephew who is still there as well, I can't allow that to happen to them on their watch.
Do you blame the super committee for not being able to reach a resolution?
I think the super committee reflects the incredible ideological chasm that's in America right now. The American people, as you and I talked about, they've got to make a decision. The decision is, do you understand what a constitutional republic is, or do you want to have a bureaucratic nanny state? When you look at, once again, going back to our debt at $15 trillion, and the fact that now we have hit a debt to GDP ratio of 101%, and like I say, it's continuing to click higher. We're not that far away from Greece and Italy. Greece's debt to GDP ratio is 128%. Italy, 120%. So the fact that 12 individuals who supposedly were adults could not get into a room and say that we have some serious problems here in the United States of America that we can contend with. And I will tell you, this is not about, we just need to raise taxes. Because as the president said in 2009, you don't want to raise taxes in the middle of a recession. I still think that if you talk to people on the ground, they're in a recession, no matter what the folks up in D.C. or wherever may say. So, and even in 2011, fiscal year 2011, we had a 6.5% increase in revenues, but we still had a $1.3 trillion deficit. So the problem is not revenues coming into the federal government. The problem are the outlays, the spending that is going out, and we've got to get that under